Xbox on. Giant robots taking turns shooting each other. And search action galore. Today on Main Game.
Hello and welcome back to another excellent edition of Main Game, where X marks the spot for good gaming discussions, insights, know-how and words of wisdom. I'm your host Ifa Hazim, and joining me as always is...
me, Lewis Larkham, and like our subject console of today, I'm always on. This episode is one part Xbox, one part indie, and one part games you can find on game subscription services.
Sounds like quite a combination. We have our neighbors from Indonesia hard at work with an upcoming game that you might love if you're into giant mechas and turn-based combat.
So let's not delay and head on to our first segment, Lowdown.
Okay, so Luis, what can you tell me about your experience with Xbox?
Well, my first experience with Microsoft's console line is definitely with the Xbox 360. As everyone here should know by now, I love the Call of Duty series, and there's nowhere better else to play the multiplayer titles of this military first-person shooter than on the Xbox 360 via Xbox Live.
I may not have played the Xbox 360 much, but I do know friends who do own the console playing not just the original Modern Warfare games, but also many sports games. I believe FIFA was the Xbox 360 game of choice for offline multiplayer.
Ah yes, good times. It would be nice if they lasted. Still, let's not dally any longer. To cap off the trinity of first-party game companies we've covered, here is our feature on Xbox.
Few names stand as tall as Xbox. Starting in the early 2000s, Microsoft's gaming brand wanted to go beyond just software. Hence, they put their hat in the console ring and made huge waves, bringing in innovations that were adopted by the competitors. Let us start from where it all began. In November 2001, the world was introduced to the first ever Xbox console. This was Microsoft's first venture into the gaming console market. Microsoft really went with the X branding for this because of its current Microsoft DirectX technology, which it was based on. The entire console was designed around the letter X, with a big lime green logo in the center on display. The original Xbox featured quite a powerful hardware for its time, which includes an Intel Pentium 3 processor and an NVIDIA GPU. Microsoft ensured the success of Xbox by securing Bungie's Halo: Combat Evolved, a sci-fi first-person shooter that was always associated with the console. Microsoft then created Xbox Live, which is an online gaming service for its console ecosystem. The Xbox Live basically allows players to connect and play games with each other online. It also offered social features which allowed users to interact with each other using voice and text chat or even messaging. It was a huge breakthrough at the time and was a backbone in pushing the Xbox brand further as a de facto online gaming console platform. In 2005, the Xbox 360 was launched, bringing a more powerful and user-friendly version of the original console. Xbox Live Marketplace was launched alongside it, allowing users to purchase their games and also download content digitally. Something else the Xbox 360 popularized is the achievement system, where players get badges of honor on their profile on a title by completing objectives and tasks set by the game makers. The achievement system is so popular that every other company and platform just flat out copied the idea. PlayStation trophies, anyone? The Xbox 360 sold over 80 million units worldwide. Issues like the Red Ring of Death could not deter it from major success. It was the affordable option, the option with the most bang for your buck. It was a choice filled with the brand's library of console exclusives. The Xbox Live Arcade was also launched to provide a platform for independent developers to showcase their smaller titles. These include classics like Braid, Limbo, and our personal favorite, Castle Crashers. To this day, Xbox continues to support indie developers to bring unique gaming experiences for players. In 2010, the Kinect arrived, which is a motion sensing input device that brought a new dimension to gaming on the Xbox 360. It utilizes motion controls, but it uses your body instead of an additional device. It was at this point when the Xbox brand started to falter, and some decisions and leadership made and established at this point in time would bite them back onward. Fast forward to 2013 and the next chapter of the Xbox saga unfolds with the launch of the Xbox One. The Xbox One wasn't just a gaming console, it aimed to be the ultimate entertainment hub. It had significantly improved hardware, enhanced multimedia capabilities, as well as integration with Microsoft's cloud services and computing platform, Azure. The Xbox One received a lot of criticism due to its high price and its focus on being more on entertainment rather than gaming.
TV, watch TV.
And there was the DRM and sharing games issue, which led to this mother of all death blows from its long-standing rival, PlayStation.
Thanks.
Microsoft tried to revert some of these issues due to the backlash, but the damage had already been done. Still, the brand pressed on. Microsoft then released the Xbox Series X and Series S in 2020, which is currently the latest generation of Xbox consoles. And then came the company's big selling point, its subscription service for gaming. The Xbox Game Pass is something most of us are now familiar with. Xbox Game Pass was first introduced in 2017 and has since become a popular way for players to try out new titles without having to pay full price. It currently has over 34 million subscribers and offers a big variety of games that include both indie and AAA titles. The future of Xbox is poised for continued innovation and success, is what we would have said were it not for it being uncertain. Case in point, recent mixed messaging from its current leads and heads of the brand to layoffs happening after doing a series of expensive game developer buyouts. And its Xbox and PC Game Pass subscription model, while ideal for consumers, it is uncertain if it's going to work out for them in the long run in terms of recouping costs. Still, the Xbox brand may have a trick or two up its sleeve. It did not just garner a dedicated fanbase overnight after all. The Xbox brand, even with a shaky future, is still considered a dominant force in the gaming industry for taking lots of chances.
That was quite a retrospective of Microsoft Xbox brand and its consoles, quite a feat from Western developers, given that the East had been dominant in video gaming space back then. Is it safe to assume that the Xbox 360 is the most successful gaming console from Microsoft, Luis?
Yes, without a doubt. The console sold 84 million units since its release way back in 2005, and its top-selling games are GTA 5, Minecraft, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and Call of Duty Black Ops. But trouncing those games is Kinect Adventures, which came out in 2010 during the Kinect phase of the console. I'm sure that some of you may recall that that was a time where every game publisher wanted to make their own version of Nintendo's Wii. Xbox just took it a one step further, as mentioned in the feature.
That sounds like my cup of tea, actually. I can picture myself going back to a time in 2010 when I played Kinect games with my friends. I'm thankful to have enough space to accommodate the Kinect's large room space requirements.
And for gamers like you, Aoife, you might enjoy Viva Pinata. Have you seen or heard of the game before?
Yes, I remember the Pinata horse on the cover art of the game. It's like the Sims, but with Pinata animals instead of humans. Adorable Pinata animals.
Adorable indeed. But many of us still remember the Xbox for what it is, gaming for teens and adults. It also helped that the 360 was backwards compatible with Xbox games from the original Xbox, so you can play classics like Crazy Taxi 3, Crimson Skies, Halo Combat Evolved, and even Mech Assault, which was a multiplayer sensation during the 2000s using the BattleTech license. And yes, the iconic Timberwolf mech is in it.
Speaking of rock'em sock'em robots, when we come back, we'll be talking about an upcoming mecha game. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back after these commercials. Welcome back, main gamers. The power fantasy of piloting a giant robot with artillery that could level a city is always strong. In this next feature, we take a look at a game where your penchant for controlling mechas coincides with your tactical and strategy skills. Here's a look at the upcoming strategy mecha title, Kriegsfront Tactics.
Mecha games are making a comeback. Okay, that was a hyperbolic statement, but you cannot deny being gleeful just seeing big, medium, and small studios making games with giant robots in them. You have the action-packed kind, which emulate the good old days of online real-time mecha combat, with walking tanks, but in single-player form. On the indie front, you have action-packed offerings like Panzer Paladin, and farming sims like Lightyear Frontier. Odd combination, but strangely relaxing. And then there are also the turn-based strategic offerings like Into the Breach and Phantom Brigade. Each of them delivers different kinds of mecha action using its turn-based mechanics. But if you're talking about true, turn-based classic role-playing game combat, we have the Front Mission games to thank for that. Square Enix's, Squaresoft back then, mecha game franchise featured storylines with military conflicts and political tensions taking place between the 21st and 22nd centuries, and mechas called Wanzas that are a mix of cool and realistic designs. It sure would be nice to have this sort of game making a comeback in a new form and format. Thankfully, Indonesian game studio Toge Productions is on the case to sort our needs for tactical mecha-filled combat with that little bit of realistic tinge to it. This is Kriegsfront Tactics, an upcoming procedural, turn-based mecha tactics role-playing game set in an alternate 1970s during an era of conflict in Southeast Asia. You command a squad of mechas and are sent behind enemy lines to complete missions from the higher-ups. Just like the Front Mission games of old, you can build and customize your squad as you see fit, from the weapons they wield to the paint job so you can look darn good while dealing with warring platoons and nations. We talked to Toge Productions CEO and founder Chris Anthony about how the game came to be and what its inspirations are.
I'm a big fan of like Front Mission games back from like the PlayStation 1 era, and I've always I've been wanting to play or like get a new game like a Front Mission mecha tactics game, but sadly after waiting 20 years plus something, there's no like new mecha tactics game like Front Mission. So we're tired of waiting, so we just decided like why not make one ourselves. Basically we wanted to revive like the mecha tactics genre, that kind of like a spiritual successor to Front Mission, but we want to modernize like the game design aspects, the graphics and all that. So we want to kind of like have some things that improve and modernize, but while also maintaining like the core spirit of what Front Mission is. So that becomes Kriegsfront Tactics. So basically we're maintaining like all the best parts of like the mecha tactics genre, which is like it has to be deeply tactical. You have cool mechs that are somewhat plausible in real life. Have like military vehicle design aesthetics, looks cool, and then you can destroy like each body parts. But also we want to bring new things, like we want to improve the gameplay mechanics, make it more tactical, add more positioning so it matters, adding like a little bit of like graphical improvements. And also like it's set in Southeast Asia because we're Southeast Asian developers. So Kriegsfront Tactics take a lot of inspiration from conflicts during the 70s, 60s, 70s era in Southeast Asia. So we're kind of like taking a lot of inspiration from history and then bringing that into one game and combining that with all the the gameplay mechanics.
We also asked what the main challenges are when making an indie strategy title like Kriegsfront Tactics.
So Kriegsfront Tactics would be probably our most ambitious game so far, and we've never made like a full 3D tactical game before this. So this is like our first time tackling a project like this. So we started sometime like 2019, like early 2019, on and off in the beginning. So it's been a while, and we want to try to build up our like technology and also like our knowledge and experience in making a game like this. So yeah, we've been like taking it slow, and then we really want to, we don't want to mess this up, right? We want to bring like the best experience that Front Mission fans have been waiting for. So we're like meticulously trying our best to to deliver a game that's up to that standard, I guess. So it's been a lot of trial and error. We have to kind of like build from scratch basically. So the plan is to finish the game and release it by 2025. So the plan is to release it next year. Hopefully we'll be on time, but we'll see.
With games like Kriegsfront Tactics showing lots of promise, we do hope more developers get in on the turn-based mecha squad action.
That was a lovely look at a new strategy mecha game from our indie game developer friends from Indonesia, Kriegsfront Tactics. Are you really into mecha games of this scope, Louise? Especially with robots that look like they could be made in real life?
I'm more of a fantastical mecha guy myself. I prefer Gundams and other sorts of giant mecha of that anime caliber. Although I do want to try out these Super Robot Wars games, but they are so expensive for what they offer. That being said, I did try out the Kriegsfront Tactics demo on Steam, and our VO guy Jonathan was right. It is reminiscent of Front Mission games of the PlayStation 1 era.
But with that Southeast Asian flair, correct? I spot that during the gameplay segments of the future. Again, thank you to Toge Productions for sharing to us more info about your upcoming game. Is there anything that you'd like to share about Toge Productions, Luis?
Well, yes, I do. Toge Production has been busy with publishing games, not just developing them. In 2021, they published a fun 2D roguelite titled Rising Hell, complete with a banging metal soundtrack. And in early 2023, they published A Space for the Unbound, one of last year's most critically acclaimed adventure titles.
And if you want a taste of Toge Productions' own developed games, look no further than Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk Episode 2 out right now. These two titles are relaxing and chill vibe visual novels featuring an alternate Seattle filled with satyrs, banshees, orcs, vampires and werewolves trying to live their daily lives.
While we're on the indie space, when we come back, we'll be talking about a slew of games to recommend to you. So don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Welcome back, fellow gamers. If you're itching for more affordable gaming picks, this next segment is sure to whet your appetite.
That's right, it's time to check out one of the most popular genres in indie game development, the search action genre, but you may know them as Metroidvanias.
For those who don't know, Metroidvania is a subgenre of action-adventure games focused on guided non-linearity and utility-gated exploration and progression. Big maps that connect to different areas and biomes, abilities and power-ups you collect that open up new pathways, usually 2D in nature.
And if you're wondering how the name came to be, it's a combination between Metroid and Castlevania, in reference to Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which popularized the genre back in the mid-90s. And with that, here are our top Metroidvania picks of this year.
At the core of search action games, aka Metroidvania titles, lies the thrill of exploration. The Metroidvania genre has always had a dedicated fanbase on the lookout for new experiences. If you are new to the genre, here are some notable titles that have been released recently that you can go check out right now. We've brought up Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown before, so no sense repeating ourselves. Just know that it's the Metroidvania to get if you want a polished, 2D, action-packed experience with time-based powers to mess around with. Besides, would you rather play Skull and Bones instead? Didn't think so. In the indie department, we've got Ultros, a visually stunning Metroidvania that takes place through a beautifully crafted world filled with mystery and intrigue. And by beautiful, we mean trippy AF. The game is set in a vibrant landscape, and players will have to navigate their way through various levels, while encountering unique challenges and obstacles thrown in their path. Ultros definitely provides an engaging and immersive experience that promises to captivate players with its artistry and gameplay. Blasphemous 2 is the unholy sequel to its original game released in the past year. The sequel maintains its challenging gameplay while enhancing it with new mechanics and content. With its hauntingly beautiful pixel art, spine-chilling soundtrack, and a narrative that delves into the deepest recesses of the human psyche, Blasphemous 2 is a must-play for fans of the genre. A title that's more unique to the genre is Frog Monster, mixing in an exciting blend of first-person shooter genres in a stunning voxel-based art style. You are thrust into this captivating world filled with exploration, intense combat, and an intricate level design. Players will uncover new abilities and weapons as they explore, and secrets which will aid their quest. Frog Monster has a unique blend of gameplay mechanics with visually striking aesthetics that will give players a delightful and challenging experience. If you enjoy a more fantastical, retro-esque atmosphere, RZ the Jewel of Faramore is a fantasy adventure mixed with puzzle-solving gameplay. Also an indie title, the game immerses players in the mystical world of Faramore, which looks a bit familiar if you're into the 90s kind of trash, where they embark on a quest to uncover the secrets of the ancient city of RZ. It has a very charming pixel art style and engaging mechanics that will offer an enchanting experience to both classic and modern gamers alike. And your reward? Terrible looking cutscenes made in an ode to the game it was inspired from, the CDI Zelda games.
Lamp oil, rope, bombs? You want it? It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rubies.
You struck luck, my friend. These wares aren't elsewhere. My goods will improve your fortunes, so long as you improve mine.
As a reward, how about some fairy dust?
No, thanks.
Oh, I insist.
These titles are just scratching the surface of the Metroidvania genre. Beyond entertainment, Metroidvania games showcase the artistry of game development and the joy of interactive storytelling. Whether you are a seasoned adventurer or new to the genre, diving into the world of Metroidvania games promises an unforgettable experience filled with wonder and excitement.
Now, that was quite the collection of Metroidvanias, wouldn't you say? Those RZ cutscenes are really the stuffs of nightmares, huh?
It's funny that you mention nightmares, Aoife, because I'm very sure that that element, along with similar emotions and feelings like fear and dread, are prevalent in a special genre of video games that we may or may not talk about next episode.
I'm sensing that the next episode is going to be a bit eerie, I don't know, so don't miss out. But this being an Xbox history recap and a Metroidvania episode, what Metroidvanias and such action games on PC Game Pass would you recommend right now, Luis?
Well, off the top of my head, I do have a few suggestions. Spiritfarer, a 2D search action game with a relaxing vibe coupled with some deep philosophical notes that touch upon the concept of death. There's also Indivisible, an RPG with search action mechanics and a neat turn-based combat system that feels kind of like a fighting game. I also can't forget about the cult classic Hollow Knight, a moody search action game with Dark Souls-like elements. And there's also the two Ori games, Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I'd say that these two are our top picks because they're beautiful, the controls are flawless, and are challenging as well. But that's really all I can think of at the moment.
Yes, that's a lot of games on one subscription service, one you can pay 15 ringgit a month for if you want access to a huge catalogue of classic and recent titles.
Just before we wrap up today's episode, we have something for you, dear viewers, to participate in. Take it away, Aoife.
Okay, once again, it's contest time. Here is our question for this week's episode. The question is, What are the best-selling Xbox 360 titles we listed on the show? I repeat, what are the best-selling Xbox 360 titles we listed on the show? Here's a hint. It's not Blinks the Cat. Submit your answers on Kakuchopurei's Facebook page. Winners will be getting PC Game Passes.
That's Kakuchopurei, spelled Kakuchopurei. And with that, we'd like to thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Main Game, a show where we expertly weave the history of Xbox with mecha gaming, Metroidvania, and gaming subscription services all in one amazing sweep. I'm your big robot enthusiast / host, Lewis Larkham.
And I'm your excellent host, Ifa Hazim. May you not experience your personal red ring of death. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.